So yeah, I mean, so basically, what they did is they made it so basically you still have to. At first, you had to vote for one home and one away, and there wasn't particularly anyone who was good. You weren't designating positions; it was like a proper true competition. And then they made it so you had to. So basically, one has to be from away, but the other doesn't have to be from home. So what they're actually doing is, if you think of it as an entire country with all those states, they're actually snipping it and clipping it. So if it was a bunch of daisies and they were all growing in the floor, and they could grow branches to other states, you're actually snipping it so they aren't all actually. Can you imagine if you got loads of long grass and then you like get an elastic band and you kind of like put them into a kind of like get your hand and then you sort of wrap your hands around the grass and then put an elastic band around it while it's still growing. Okay, so all the grass is growing from all these places, right? And you put an elastic band around it. That's like the United States, right? Because you've got all these long grasses and they're all forming one bunch. But if you cut them all and snip them all, right, so they're not growing from all of the United States anymore, then where are they going from? Well, this is the thing. All out of state, or one spot in the field, one spot in the corner of the field. So, what happens if that corner of the field is, like secretly owned by some foreign entity that intends to infiltrate it? So it really is dumber and dumber. I mean, even Homer Simpson could probably not do as spectacular dumbness as that. So I don't know what they've got to be proud of. And in fact, we the people, aren't you weeing on the people? Aren't you taking the pee out of the whole United States of America by literally peeing in the corner of the room? It's like never mind we the people of all of the United States, yet all the nominees now can just be from one corner of the country. Take a piss in the corner, nobody puts baby in the corner. They'll put the president in the corner. It's Trump. No wonder his hair's turned yellow. So it's ridiculous. Let's just show me in the and you basically also you write which so that what they're doing is also they're having basically two elections alongside at the same time. They're having an election for vice president separately for the election for president. So what they're doing is when they hold the election, they're kind of running two separate competitions. So what they're doing is they're having two contests. So not only are they snipping the daisy, they're snipping the daisies, the daisy patches, so it doesn't have to be, the whole. It's not like the whole field. It's just like one corner. It can all be. It's like putting your chips. It's like having your gambling chips all on one thing rather than having if you went into a casino and you were putting all your money on all different numbers, you just put them on one, it's really, it doesn't really represent the term the United States of America, or even to all, to all states, and then also they split, and then they split, and rather than you got these two nominees, and then no one knows really who's going to win, but you got two chances, and the reason you've got two votes, from the very start, after these Articles of Confederation, from the very start of this sort of we the people thing. Also, it's not from the start of the United States, from the start of this we the people thing, right? The reason you've got two votes is not because, just to add more votes in, because everyone could just have one vote, in England we only get one vote, right? They're giving everyone 2 votes. But the reason they're giving people 2 votes is to actually get a it's for reasons of unity. United States of America. It's to unite the country, because what you're doing is, in any election, why wouldn't you just have one vote? You know, who's your guy? You know, why would it matter, as long as they're from America, right? Why would it matter, you know, if they were from your state or not? Because it doesn't anymore. You know, people just vote for, Trump or Biden or whatever. The reason they had 2 votes and why one was in state and one out was to unite them. It was to unite them because they're actually, by putting forward someone from your own state, but also, having an interest in someone from any of the other states who might be prolific or popular, you're actually helping to unite the states together. That's the point. It's called the United States. So you're actually you're building bridges between states, so to say. So the Golden Gate Bridge, you're building bridges between states, uniting the states, and to all, between all people, and to whom. I think that's a really key element of the idea behind the United States, because otherwise, why don't they just have everyone can nominate from their own state their best person, and then, but some states are bigger than others, but it definitely is. It has an emphasis on. It's actually a competition as well. It's a contest. It's a competition, and no one knows who's going to win. But surely, obviously, who's going to win is going to get the most votes, and then whoever comes second, they get the second in command, the second prize, which I think is. But no one knows, with the home votes and away votes, it's pretty cool because no one knows till the last minute. With all these polls they've got now and all this, you're not meant to know. I mean, what is it? If you already know who's going to win, what's the point in going to vote? If you already have got all these constant tracking and survey things going on, you already know. So why go to the ballot and vote? That's only like maybe to make it official. Like, it's almost like writing a letter and saying, what does it say? And then saying, oh, well, it says this, but it's not official until we've signed it. Now, with all these magazines and newspapers getting involved and telling everyone what's going on, and then everyone's saying they've got an opinion, it's almost like they've already done the election, but then everyone just got to go in to. It's almost like writing "We the People" and drafting it all out. It's almost like writing the Constitution and saying, well, it's not official until it's been signed, and then so everyone has to go into the polling station to fucking sign it, to make it official, take the piss. We the people, it's all right. Forbes News and Jeff Bezos have already done the election and told us who's won. Now we'll just go to the polling station and fucking sign it off for him at the bottom. Jeff's done it, even though we're paying for the privilege of going into the polling station to sign Bezos's new election that he forecast. He predicted the favourites were cast at the booking office. Thanks, Jeff. Well done. You just rigged an election. Now we'll go and sign it off. We're gonna go stand in the snow and pull my pants down. I'll sign this off for you, Jeff. In the snow. Take a pee. We the people. There we go. But Jeff's already told us who's won the election. I'll just go piss on it. This is it. It surely is insane. And then what happened after this is that they went even further and these, because they'd de-anchored it from all the states, then, these political parties could just they're actually putting their own nominees forward. Oh, well, we'll save you all the trouble now. We'll just put this guy forward, and they're going to put that guy forward, and then, we've decided that it's only ever going to be between two guys. That's a great competition. It's almost like going to the Olympics and saying, well, what's the point in having the Olympic Games? What's the point in having 20 runners? You might as well just watch them all year in training and say, right, these two guys are the top two. Let's just have them run. You might as well, go to the Olympics, right? And if you've got 30 competitors in the running, like Usain Bolt or whatever, you might as well just say, right, these two guys, these two are the badass guys, like the rest of them, fuck them, right? We're just gonna watch Usain Bolt, run against, Daley Thompson or whatever. Effectively, that's it. That's what they've done now. In the presidential election, they've got Usain Bolt and Daley Thompson and said, right, well, these guys can't touch them, so we might as well just, have it off between these two. What's the point in doing the Olympics? If everyone knows that this is the bookies, we've got his favourite now, what's the point in Macron and Starmer? Macron's prancing around going, ooh, Keir Starmer's come over to my new Paralympics, and for the Paralympics, it's almost kind of like, the rest of the nominees for the presidential election, like parapoliticians, they've all got disabilities, they're all disabled politicians, none of them could stand a chance, like Fetterman or something, it's like, oh, fuck them, it's like, oh no, this is the champion of champions competition. The Titans, Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, the only competition worth watching. Fuck the parapolitics, the parapolitics. Wheeling Starmer out in a wheelchair or whatever. No, that's no offence to any disabled people, but that's how they're regarding abled people, people who could have a shot at being president. On that basis, you might as well not even have a football league. You might as well just say, Manchester United versus fucking Real Madrid or whatever. I mean, what's the point in having a World Cup? What's the point in having Spain, Argentina, Paraguay, Japan, England, or whatever? You might as well just get France and Italy and say, the rest of the teams are shit. Let's get these two bad boys off against each other. I mean, what's the point in having the tournament? What's the point? You might as well have the final. I mean, that's effectively it. I mean, what is the point? And instead of the actual competition, it's the Olympics, so we'll watch 30 people run now. This is going to be good to watch. But what they've done is, what the entertainment, instead of a real competition to watch, is now it's all bullshit. Like Kamala Harris answers some questions, reads off an auto cue, or in a new, Shambhala DMC convention with all these worshipping fans. Oh, you're going to see a real contest on the stage now. Oh, Kamala Harris is going to say something against one single opponent, Donald Trump. It surely is the most charlatan of charlatans, the most sideshow of sideshows, the most absolute, complete spectacle of who would be so imperiously, who would have the testic. Even a 12-year-old fucking Chinese emperor didn't have balls like this. These people, Trump and Harris, have got balls. And even it's Dutch courage even to outshadow Arnold's fucking Schwarzenegger. I mean, there's balls and there's balls. This is not Dutch courage. This is blindness. Who would be on such a pedestal on this planet? Not even a fucking 12-year-old Chinese fucking emperor's got balls like this. But Harris, you need to be not all there to be there. Surely no crawling ant on the face of this planet could assume themselves so majestically important that the competition is already decided. I mean, who else could it possibly be? We've had our own little delegate thing knocking around with the Dems and the Republicans. Oh, you mean the newspapers telling us who's won? The newspapers doing the polls. Oh, just a minute, aren't the federal government supposed to be running the election? It's tosh. It's complete. Some of these Democrats I've seen at these conventions are so warped in their Beverly Hills 90210 lifestyle of gender-bending, transsexual, Route 66, prime Amazon drink bollock, that they don't even know how dumb they are. It's like whatever, it's so dumber than dumb. I mean, it makes Homer Simpson look intelligent. There's no the only reason they've still got these gun laws and even this Bill of Rights, freedom of speech, is because, someone's got the foot on the head of the snake and the rest of it's wriggling around and changing the laws of America like there's no tomorrow. It's like the snake shedding its skin all over the freaking place, while some cunt's got their foot on its head so they can't change the gun laws and the freedom of speech. And, they're about, Kamala Harris is about to take a foot off the snake and then it's fucking gone. It's because, away with the past, forget the past, leave the past, in with the new, there is no American Constitution. It can all be changed, ratified and amended. So why do they go on with all this bullshit? We've got a Constitution. It seems to me like it just changes when it suits them. I think England has actually got more of proper law because we've got Magna Carta. There were loads and loads of statutes that say that all orders and judgments against the Magna Carta are void and illegal, and that it can't be changed unless you're a traitor of the realm and so forth. And in fact, the Magna Carta and Charter of Liberties are rooted in the ancient customs and traditions. And the ancient customs and traditions are actually meant to be what the identity of the country as an identity, like a culture, a tradition, and a people who have an identity and a way of doing things which is distinctly to its country and the people that have the land produces, just same as any other country, like India or China or anywhere, the people of that earth. That all these new modern politicians claim to be protecting the rights of these religions and different ethnicities, but while all the time they're desperately trying to liquidate them, like some sort of cordial squash, while claiming that if anyone accuses them of doing that, then they're the ones who are, the ones who are racist or whatever. They're not protecting or preserving anything. In fact, they're trying to eradicate all the differences while they're claiming that you're not allowed to criticise differences. They're eradicating them. Just like in the United States, when it's meant to be the United States, but they're not united anymore because the thing that united them was that voting thing. That presidential election, if you think about it, that is the thing that united them because they had everyone put forward someone from their own area, but then they also picked someone from another area, or who could be from anywhere. So it was a process of unity, of kind of weaving a tapestry of connectedness between the United States. And then someone pulled the plug out and said, the states don't have to be united anymore. And then kind of like sticking all the chips on one not even one place, just one person, In fact, and I know it's meant to be about the people, we the people, but it's meant to be like we the people from all of the... It's the United States, put it this way. It's the United States was invented first, and then the people. So what they're doing is all like, they're kind of forgetting the states and just doing, well, we're all just people, so it doesn't matter where you're from. We're just all, but I think that the to all and to whom is meant to have created the United States. It's all maybe USA. It's maybe the United States of America. And the fact that the people are the people from all of the states that united. But when, it's not called the United Parties of America. It might as well be called the United Parties of America, because there are only two of them. And the only party now is a big fanny party. He's definitely a fanny party now that Kamala Harris is in it. The United Party of America. If there ever was a Wizard of Oz and a pair of curtains to pull back, it would be that those would be the curtains. Let's reveal who the wizard is. The United Party of America. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Or is it a woman? Ooh, be careful. There are laws now. If you misgender them. Even if they haven't pulled the curtain back, you might get the fucking gender wrong. But I haven't seen them yet. How can I misgender them? Well, can't you recognise the tone in their voice? Yes, but if that's the case, how do I know if they're on steroids or not? Well, I don't... Be careful that you misgender that anonymous person behind the curtain who we haven't seen yet. But we're meant to... it's still illegal to misgender them even if you've only heard them, I think that guy who wrote The Wizard of Oz, who was from America, would probably be quite impressed with that joke now, to be honest. The United Party of America, which won't be united for long, once, the curtain is revealed. Is it going to be Trump, the chief Oompa Loompa, or is it going to be Kamala Harris, the, hooks of the federal agency, with a microphone, with a megaphone or whatever she's got. So that's it, basically. So they did have a very, very fair system. And actually, it also, if you allow it to be kind of like this party that doesn't even represent a state, putting forward nominees, who's got interest in these parties? There's a lot more potential for abuse if it's like the World Economic Forum who've got interest in these political parties, or the World Health Organization, or United Nations, or whatever, because then parties are just an organization, a group, a thing. Anyone can have interest or influence through a party. You don't know who the influencer is or whatever. If it's actually people from all these separate states, even if they are kind of all members of a particular party or whatever, at least it's a proper competition between them all, and no one really knows exactly who's going to win. If every single person's got to vote for someone from their area and also from someone from the other, at least you don't know who out of the Democratic Party is for certain going to win. At least that's a proper competition. Even if it is one party, it could have been Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Kamala Harris, or Marianne Williamson, or Bernie Sanders, or whoever. At least, it would have been a fair competition. But when you already know it's going to be, isn't that the most boring thing ever? Knowing for 12 months before. Oh no, and only due to Biden. Well, everyone knew Biden was, memory failing and not even capable of being president anymore. So, isn't it the worst thing ever to already know that, we're going to flip a coin in December and it's either heads or tails? Isn't that the worst thing ever? I mean, it's almost like going to a casino and saying the only thing you can play is roulette. And by the way, you can only bet on black or red. You know, it's like on that Passenger 57. When I gamble, I always bet on black. Some of these movie lines are insane. It's almost like, you know, it's when I gamble, I always bet on Camilla. When I gamble, I always bet on Camilla. Or Camilla. Is it Camilla? Is it Camilla or Camilla? Is it Kamala, Allah, or Camilla? Camilla. It's almost like, isn't there some royal precedent in that? Just a minute, it says, let's not be taken over by royalist British factors, but Camilla sounds very similar to Kamala, you know, or koala, you know. That's funny. It's almost like they're trying to get Americans, you know, if Prince Harry wasn't enough to try and sway the Americans into royalty, now they get this Camilla, or is it Kamala? Is it Kamala or is it Camilla? I'm not quite sure. You know, or is it vanilla? Is it Camilla, vanilla, or Kamala? Or is it Allah? Is it the mighty Allah? It's a little like the Cabal. Is it Kabbalah? It's a little bit like the Kabbalah when they go to a DNC thing. It's almost kind of like some sort of Quran meeting with some big square block in the middle with a DMC demo with all the square light up box and goons walking around microphones going, you know, when you gamble, do you always bet black or red? It's like Twin Towers, isn't it? Passenger 57, you know. This is the Twin Towers. Which tower do you bet on? Any of them? Both of them. You know, it is a Twin Towers attack. When I gamble, I always bet on the Twin Towers. So where's Bruce Willis when you need him? You know, at least in that movie, at least there were 5 or 6 terrorists at the top of the building, not just 2 of them. You know, it really is ridiculous. I don't think that the United States of America actually. I actually starting to think now that all this "We the People" bollocks is just tosh. All this USA. It's actually it's in fact more, and also now. What in that original We the People Constitution, none of the federal office holders could vote, because if you want to work for government and if you want to be in office, public office, you're serving the public. What would you want to do in life? Do you want to vote, or do you want to, serve? The people. The people in the office didn't actually vote. If you wanted to choose to work for government or be elected into government, a lot of American positions are elected, even the police chiefs, the judges, the mayors, there's many, many, many elected positions in America, a lot more than in England. Then you want to be a person who serves the public. And if you want to, in life, I want to work for the machinery of the government. I want to serve the public, right? Well, if you make that choice, then, I don't want to be a voter, the person who elects office. I want to be a person in the office. I want to be a person elected into office. I don't want to be one of the people who choose I don't want to be in the office, but, I'll be the person who votes for them. And, they're the ones who are meant to be impartial, and they weren't actually allowed to be, they weren't a party affiliated because they couldn't vote. Now what you find is that Biden and Trump and Obama, what they've actually done is they've actually made it so they've actually made it so that all of the people working in the government can vote and are allowed to vote, and even persuading them to support parties. So all the people who are running the ballot voting, and mayors and judges and police chiefs and so forth, have actually been encouraged to be, little Kamala Harris Muppets and so, why would you want the police and the FBI and CIA and judges in America and mayors to be on an opposing side? Because then they've been bought by a side. So when you've got accusations of things being done wrong, They're either fighting a war out like this Trump versus Hunter Biden legal case suit thing, or they're actually not. They're protecting these parties or persons when they've done wrong, and it's not meant to be the public vote. The public take a side and they go cast their votes. They're the jury. But when there's anything being done wrong, it's meant to be the impartial serving staff who do the investigating, who do the prosecuting, who do the judging. They have a side. They're just checking that things was done right, and not done wrong. But not by this Democratic Party who want to beat the other party. The police chiefs and the magistrates and the staff of the government aren't meant to want any side to win. Their priority is meant to be that everything is done properly. Now, if none of these organisations had a problem with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s registration and petition collecting and they thought it was legitimate, why would they have any interest in challenging him? They didn't in many cases. It was actually his opponents who do have a side and who want to beat him who brought the case. And actually, that's what 501c3 is meant to prevent. That's the whole point of it. That 501c is meant to stop opponents from messing up the process. And that's quite evident from the original We the People Constitution, which they've been parading around on the top, on every single search engine results when you type in, United States of America. You'd have thought that the White House would be wallpapered with it on the inside and outside with that We the People thing. But now Kamala Harris wants to set it on fire like Jimi Hendrix. Oh no, leave all that behind in the past now. Some sort of voodoo ritual or something. That's history now. Well, she's going to rewrite the Constitution. Well, maybe she will do, seeing though apparently it can be ratified and changed as much as she wants, as long as she can, take a foot off the head of the snake, and maybe even the right to bear arms will slither off into the grass or whatever, and the freedom of speech as well. Maybe she might just break the snake's jaw. Just like open its mouth and like. Now then snake, you got freedom of speech now, have you? It's such a shapeshifter that I don't even know why they still even use that picture, that We the People thing, because the only thing they've got is the name of the country is still the United States, but it isn't even really united, not through the vote in our election process. And no one even, blinks an eye to all and to whom. So I actually think that it's all a con. I don't think America has this kind of like thing that they say that it is. They talk about it and present it like it's some like kind of rock solid rights or whatever, but it actually isn't, because it's all these amendments and that, there's not really much left of that original vision and ideal. I think now, looking at it, there is actually more in the British, because the thing is, it all means something and it all has a purpose, and the thing with the law in England is that it's got a reason and a purpose, like with the oath. The point in the judicial oath, regardless of any legislation, is what it says. And that's an oath. It says, I will not take any favours for justice. We won't do any deals with people. We won't bargain. We won't bargain for justice. It has to be through a proper process where it's judged by evidence and on law. We won't bargain for it, right? But what Tony Blair did is he ended up introducing a bargaining system. So, you can like negotiate for lower sentences if you hand over evidence, and if you're a good little boy, and if you, say you're sorry, and if you plead the way they want you to plead, you get discounts, which is, a discount. If you go to the tax man and you get too many discounts, they might end up thinking that you're doing them a favour. You know what I mean? It might be gifts in kind. Surely. So it does actually have a meaning and a purpose, like in the Claim of Right Act, that oath. And to understand what it means, you have to go back, like the right to petition and Magna Carta. It's all got a purpose and meaning, and it's so that there's a legitimate process. It's a legitimate process that can be followed, even though in Magna Carta, at the end of the day, the peers can disregard the law, but only because all of the evidence has been put forward and they get to decide. But it's still all being heard and presented and voiced through a process which is official, and all the local people are meant to be there, or representatives. It's not like a lynching mob who have just gone into the woods and accused someone of a crime, and then, like, they didn't even let them speak, and, someone lied, and then they chuck a rope over a tree and then just hang them. That's a lynching mob, and that's not fair, because it didn't do these fair processes. Even though the jury can disregard the law, the evidence was heard and presented, and people got a chance to speak, and so forth. You speak, then I speak, and so forth. That's what it's meant to be fair, And this is the thing in America, I think that they really were meant to create something which was not about this, it's already decided. I mean, it's what's the point?